G'day, if you've got to remove your steering wheel, you've got to take the airbag out for whatever reason, here's how you do it. So you might want to be changing over your steering wheel. If your steering wheel is worn out, you might want to change a vinyl wheel to a leather wheel. You might be wanting to, change your steering wheel controls over. You might want to go, alter that. But for whatever reason, here's how you do it. It's pretty simple. So you're going to start with, you're going to have two plastic panels at the back. So this is the back of the steering wheel housing. This is just a spare. And you've got a panel here. So you want to get a little, like an electrician's screwdriver, and just stick it in there. You do need to be careful because if you're doing it with steel up against plastic, Steelville plastic, steel's going to win, and you can mark your plastic quite badly. So you want to just stick it in there. There's the round section here. Stick it in the edge and just lever it forward, and it'll just pop out like that. That's what it looks like. It's the same both sides. This side's got a hole in it, unless you've got a workmate with it, because you don't have cruise control. But this is it'll have a hole. You can do. It's the same process. You've still got a panel here that pops out, and that's how you do it. You just put your screwdriver in there and lever it out. Now that will expose the Torx keys here. So you need a T30 Torx bit, and then you can just stick that in there and then just undo it. This side I've already done. So you'll see it. It's the only screw that you'll see. This is the design that's Toyota's been using for 30 odd years. So you just stick that in there, and then when you pull your Torx bit out, you want to kind of pull the screw with it. You want to pull the screw with it, because sometimes you'll go to grab the airbag and they'll just grip a little bit. And you've got it all the way undone, but the screw is just sitting in there and the thread is just catching on the airbag to prevent it from coming out. Obviously, because we're dealing with an airbag, before you take your airbag out, obviously you want to disconnect your battery. That's your critical step. You definitely want to disconnect your airbag before before you go anywhere near it, because you don't want to accidentally deploy it. It's an expensive mistake, and it can get quite dangerous. So, but that's easy. Disconnect your battery, wait 5 minutes, and then what I do is I'll just put before I start anything, put the key in the ignition, try and start it, put my foot on the brake. That will make sure that there's no, residual current in the system, which there wouldn't be. But if you're a worrywart like me, then that's how you do it. Pull your airbag forward, and there's this an orange clip on a yellow cord at the back of the steering wheel, and there's a yellow clip. There's a little yellow clip at the that connects the airbag to your airbag loom. And you just need to pull that yellow piece forward. You need to pull it forward. If you can get your fingernails behind it, you can just pull it up. Or if you're really, really careful, again, little jeweler's flat screwdriver, you can stick it in under the yellow tab and you just lever it forward towards the front of the car. It comes up evenly. It's just as easy, I find, just to grab it with your fingernails and then just pull it up. And then after you've done that, it'll just wiggle forward. Then your earth, disconnect your earth. That's got your airbag out, nice and simple. You'll need a 19mm socket to get the nut out. Undo it. Take that off. Now, if you've got no steering wheel controls on so you've got a Hilux workmate, all you'll need to do is disconnect the airbag. The airbag is the same for the workmate and it's the same for the SR5. It's no different. However, if you've got steering wheel controls and cruise control, then there'll be two additional plugs here you need to remove. So let's just show you those. So here they are. You've got these two here. Here's your airbag plug, and there's that clip, right? So this clip, that's the clip there that you just pull forward. You pull that yellow piece up. That'll be sitting at your airbag like that. You just pull it up, no problem. And then these need to come out. Just squeeze, come out they go. That one will stay behind on the clock spring when you pull the wheel out. But those will need to be disconnected before we do the next step. So now, you can do this. You can sometimes pull it and it will pop, or you can bash it forward. I have got this off in a pinch with a rubber mallet, tapping around the edges. You want to be extraordinarily, I mean, you can do that, that's fine, but you want to be extraordinarily careful. You've got a very fine spline here, and you do not want to stuff that up. You don't want to damage the spline on the steering wheel, and you do not want to damage the spline on your steering column. So what I use is I'll use a harmonic balancer puller. You can get a specific steering wheel puller. This is a harmonic balancer puller. I've had this for years. So all that's a case of just finding the bolt that goes into your steering wheel. There's one of them, and we just put that. So there'll be two. Every steering wheel is pretty much the same. It'll have tapped into it threads, which are for this specific purpose, for pulling a steering wheel. So then you just put them in through your steering wheel puller, or through your harmonic balancer puller, whatever you're using. And you want to get them well and truly, really well into the steering wheel itself. You don't want to skimp on this step, because if you only just tighten them in a little bit, and there'll be lots of different options in your kit here, and you don't want to get that wrong. And the reason you don't want to get it wrong is because if you just go a couple of turns and you've got the wrong thread, you're going to put a fair bit of force on this sucker in a minute. And when you do that, you might find that you strip your threads. So make sure, very, very important, that you have the right bolts. And then you need just a shifter or something just to grab on the end of that, which I'm going to need to get because I haven't got one. So once you've got your bolts holding that in quite well, grab a shifter. You can do this with a ratchet too, and just extend it. Come on. There we go. And it'll pop off. Hopefully not as dramatically as that. Careful of your clock spring. Now also, when you do all this, one thing that you do want to keep in mind is you want to make sure your steering wheel's straight before you pull it off. Because if you pull it off with your steering wheel like this, there ain't no chance you're going to get it back on, and you just happen to get it back on in that position. Very, very unlikely. So you pull it off. Now you can do whatever you want to do. Get your replacement wheel, feed your wires on back on there again. Make sure, try not to disrupt the clock spring as minimally as possible. Make sure you get, that's why it's key to have the steering wheel flat when you pull it off. There you go, nice and simple. Getting it back on again, tighten it up, nice and tight, and that'll pull the wheel on when you to make sure it doesn't come off. So you won't need the puller when you put it back on again. But that's, to get it off, that's all you need to do. Quite simple. Hope this was useful for you. Thanks for watching.